Hi, I'm Marcus Coward, and this is Wake Up New Bedford. And I'm here with Libsey.
Hey, how's it going?
Libsey, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know you, and for those who do but may not know all the details or the Spotify bio, then tell us a little bit about yourself. So where are you from?
So born and raised here, New Bedford, Massachusetts. Love the city, always have. I'm definitely a New Bedford kid at heart.
For sure.
But yeah, I actually grew up as a metalhead originally, in my early childhood. But then I want to say sometime around the early 2000s, I made the switch over to just listening to just strictly hip hop. And that was due to the fact that I couldn't get 94 HJY on my radio in my bedroom, so Fun 107 was what I got.
Okay.
So that introduced me to a whole different world of music that I knew was there but wasn't really familiar with.
Sure.
And then, once, technology got better and, you could start searching for things and you could start actually looking things up, that's it. I immediately engrossed myself into hip hop and fell in love. It made more sense to me as a person, and it connected to me more as a person than metal ever could.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And so, early childhood, what schools did you go to?
I went to Gyra Swift. I went to Nemandin. I went to Vogue.
Okay.
Barely graduated from Vogue, but
Yeah, really?
I managed it.
And so, what was the first idea of what you wanted to do for a career when you were younger?
See, I never really had like a solid idea, you know what I mean? When I first, I'll start with Vogue actually. When I went into Vogue, I originally wanted childcare.
Really?
I wanted to go into childcare. I actually really wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
But then I ended up, making the shift over towards welding and sheet metal. I really enjoyed just welding, like actually fusing two pieces of metal together to make something new.
Interesting.
It was super dope.
Okay.
So, granted, yeah, maybe at some point, maybe I'll take a couple of teaching classes and maybe try that out, but that was really cool. I did a little bit of welding outside of school, but then the health risks that were associated with it at the time just weren't really. I was a big cigarette smoker, not so much anymore.
Sure.
But that with the fumes from the welding,
Okay.
there was definitely some health concerns that I had that I was like, you know what, I think I need to stop.
So were you not wearing like a proper mask, or was it not just a good thing?
It was just a helmet.
Okay,
Yeah, there was
sure.
no respiratory
Interesting.
anything, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Probably should have done a little better at that workplace, but.
Sure. What was your favorite thing that you made from welding?
Oh, man. Oh, geez.
Too many to pick from?
There was. I mean, we're also talking like a decade ago, because
Sure.
that was back in high school.
Maybe what's one thing you remember making?
Well, I know one thing I contributed and helped making was there was a giant metal lighthouse.
Okay.
That we made for I think it was the anniversary of the school, or like some sort of anniversary for Vogue.
Yeah.
But I know the logo was like a lighthouse that we were making, and it was a big, like as tall as me at least.
Wow.
And I definitely remember at least working on that with some of my classmates. But that had to be at least one of my favorite pieces, because it was just so cool. It was so big. We put a lot of detail and work into it, to the point where we even had like the chains to like keep the people, if there was people on it, keep them from falling off the lighthouse. Like we had the little ropes around it and everything.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Very detailed.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were talking about music, and there's plenty to talk about there, but so you were saying early childhood, you first started out with metal. Do you have any siblings that would have influenced you for that, or was it friends? Was it your parents?
It was so for the first 13 years of my life, I was an only child.
Oh, okay.
So it was all family and parents. My uncle's been the lead singer of metal bands for like 40 years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously my mom's obviously going to be a fan of metal because she heard it from her older brother.
Yeah.
But my mom also is a fan of like oldies and like older music too. So it's not just metal was what I was growing up with. Like a lot of like the 60s and 70s, like psychedelic rock too. Like I'm a huge Doors fan. I love the Doors.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, they're good.
So this is gonna be kind of mind blowing for people that only know me for hip hop. But my three favorite bands would be The Doors, Led Zeppelin, and Rush. I love all three of those bands. They're phenomenal. Jim Morrison from The Doors, I think, is a genius in my opinion. But
so, did you grow up playing any instruments?
I tried the guitar
Yeah.
at the age of 8, and that went as well as you could think. Trying to teach an 8-year-old the guitar.
Sure.
And then early teens, I tried the drums, and then I was just like, nah, instruments aren't for me.
Okay.
But I did like the idea of singing, rapping, doing something with my voice.
Sure.
I always enjoyed that, at least.
Okay.
Because I'm always singing along to songs.
Really?
Or up until that point, I was
Yeah,
just, like carside karaoke or whatever, carpool karaoke, that's what it's called. Like, I was always singing along to stuff. But it wasn't until, I want to say, I got out of high school that I was just like, hey, why don't I actually try and write something myself? I'm bored. Now, I was out of school. I didn't have anything to do.
Yeah, okay.
So then I actually started writing my own music from then on, so about 2010.
And so that really just started as a hobby?
At first.
Yeah.
At first, it started off as a hobby. It started off as, just writing a couple of things, rapping it in front of my friends and them being like, yeah, that's dope, but And then I eventually got to the point where I was like, well, what if it wasn't meh? What if you guys actually liked it?
What if it was fire?
Yeah. So then I, actually took it seriously, and I was just like, well, what if I actually started rapping, and I continued to do that, and eventually just formulated it into where we're at today.
So before you started writing raps, did you have any idea or any motivation to write a rock song or anything like that?
So that's kind of a loaded question because I thought of it, but then, in my opinion,
Go ahead.
rock is so boring to write for.
Interesting. Okay. Really?
It's like when you're writing the lyrics, I feel like the lyrics kind of just drag on. They're slow sometimes. Depends on the song, depends on the thing.
Sure.
Plus, at least with hip hop, I could go on YouTube and find hip hop instrumentals to write to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm not. What am I gonna type in?
Yeah.
90s hair metal rock band
Type beats?
instrumental. I can't really.
No.
Especially without a rest of a band to work with.
No, that's a really interesting point. Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me at least do what's within my realm of capability.
Sure. Okay.
And then that's how I just came. You know what? Let me just try hip hop.
Okay.
And I was already a fan of it. I was already becoming more of a fan of it. And once I made that switch over, it kind of clicked in my brain oh, I can do this.
Oh, okay. And so before you made that switch, were you really listening to rock by yourself, or were there other people around you who were also enjoying it?
Well, I also grew up as a skateboarder in the area.
Okay,
so
cool.
I definitely was in the skateboarding scene. I was definitely listening to rock. I was definitely listening to punk, different styles of rock. I still do to this day.
For sure. Yeah.
My Spotify has almost 12,000 songs saved.
Yeah.
I have quite an eclectic taste.
For sure.
But I don't know. Rock just didn't really seem it, and it just made more sense for hip hop.
Yeah.
So.
And so the first rap song you wrote was after high school, you said? Once you left?
It was definitely the summer I graduated.
Okay.
And it was about 16 bars. I will never say them on camera because they're god awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Sure.
So, but yeah, no, I want to say maybe the following year, 2011, I ended up actually putting together a project, a little mixtape.
Okay. You evolved really quickly. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I'd really put my mind to it.
Yeah.
It didn't really do well. Made sense because it wasn't really that great. I was still less than a year of experience.
What did you put it out on?
DatPiff.
Yeah, sure.
Because that was the platform at the time.
Yeah.
And now that it's been so long, I actually went back and sampled some of those songs.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's
On
cool.
one of my old, on one of the mixtapes that came out a couple of years ago, I rapped over the same beat that I had rapped on then, but I took the verse from that song and used it as the second verse. Oh no, I used it as the first verse, and then I put a brand new second verse to show the evolution of how I was then to how I was now, all on the same beat.
That's wild.
So that was a really cool little thing I did.
Homage to your younger self, honestly. And so, when you first started, did it take you a long time to come up with bars, or was it something that came kind of naturally to you?
So I actually find that it was easier for me to write about stuff then because I didn't care as much.
Sure. Yeah.
Now that I do care, it does take me quite a bit longer to write. Also, then I didn't really have a solid structure. I didn't really have a solid, like, what am I even trying to say? Now I do.
Yeah.
So now I am a bit more calculated in how I write the music. Yeah, sure, I still have rambunctious music. I definitely still have, the going wild stuff. But I also want to provide a message.
And put more thought behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
That's one thing that I can at least I've heard from other sources and people that listen to my music is I'm saying things that nobody else is saying. You know what I mean? Like the rhyme schemes and and how I make certain words rhyme, and I'm using words that people wouldn't normally rhyme with.
Yeah.
So there's it's just I always wanted to be unique. So I feel like I just had to evolve into some sort of uniqueness.
Sure. Who were some of your first musical inspirations when it comes to rap?
So we have the likes of Young Jock, T.I., French Montana.
Okay.
Stuff that I had no business being inspired by.
Okay, sure.
Nowadays, like now that I've actually, listened to a much wider variety.
Yeah.
A lot of my personal experiences, and they're not even just musically, like they're business-wise too. Like I'm a big fan of Nipsey Hussle.
Sure.
That's actually where Libsey comes from, is Nipsey Hussle, and that's not something a lot of people really know. I just dropped the hustle, and my last name's Liberty, so I just took Liberty and Nipsey and just turned it into Libsey.
Interesting.
So Nipsey Hussle's always been a huge motivation, inspiration.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, another big, huge inspiration.
Yeah.
Suicide Boys,
Okay.
a big fan of them and how they went from SoundCloud rappers to having one of the biggest tours independently with no label.
Yeah.
That's just bananas. I'm a huge fan of the 90s boom bap.
Yeah.
Some of the newer guys that are doing stuff nowadays, like, yeah, they're making good moves virality-wise, but where are you guys going to be in 10 years? You know what I mean? So I have been really inspired recently by the artists of the past and how they're still relevant to this day. Because everybody's just trying to make that quick buck. They're just trying to move on to the next thing. They're not really worried about longevity.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to create is longevity. I'm trying to create some sort of legacy to leave behind.
And so you bring up the Suicide Boys, and if I'm not mistaken, it's one rapper and then one producer, right?
No, it's actually two cousins.
Okay.
And one of them is the producer.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
they do have outside production too.
Sure.
But for the most part, Scrim is usually the one that handles the production for both of them.
And so I bring that up because is there really one producer you try to stick with? Are you doing the producing?
I am.
Okay, really?
Yes, so I do 90% of my own producing.
Okay.
There is an email list that I reach out to for features and beats and whatnot. It's Anno Domini Nation. It's very widely known throughout the hip-hop community. But I go through them for some beats every now and then. But for the most part, it's all my production.
So I've never heard of this email list. So it's a community of people you can reach out to, or?
Yeah, you can just go right onto annodomini.com. Oh, sorry, annodominination.com. You can sign. you can put your email in, and they'll email you when like a new beat pack comes out, or if you can get features from certain artists. Like,
Sure.
For instance, my last album that just came out, the album formerly known as Doom. I actually just handed you a copy before we started airing.
Yeah.
There's a feature from Lil Wayne on there that I got through them. There's a feature from Keith Murray that I got from them through that's on the album. There's the same song with Keith Murray. There's a Bizarre feature, Bizarre from D12.
You have a feature. You have a song featuring Lil Wayne?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, called Goat Talk. It's on the album.
That's crazy. Is that like a dream come true for you, or?
That's yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm never gonna sit here and say like, oh yeah, he's a cool person. We were killing it in the studio. I didn't actually meet him. Like I said, it's through an email list, so it's all third party.
Yeah, yeah.
Would I have loved to have met him and actually been in the studio?
Course.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that would have been that would have been the best blunt of my life. Like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It is definitely at least a step in the right direction of a dream come true. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure.
At least I have a song with Lil Wayne. That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's all contractually legal. You know what I mean? Like, it is a real feature.
Yeah.
I do have other songs with like Rick Ross. That one's called Secret City.
Okay.
I have another song with Sean Kingston.
Sure,
that one's called Wanna Get High. I have another song with Juvenile.
Okay.
There's definitely quite an eclectic list of artists.
That's really interesting. I had no idea about that. Okay.
And hearing it here first, I don't remember the day, so I apologize. I just remember it's June. Sometime in June, I'll be dropping a song called Big Steppers, featuring Lacar from New Bedford.
Okay.
And Method Man and Redman.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
yeah.
Okay. That's definitely something to look for. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that song.
And so, do you remember doing your first show?
Yes, actually I do.
Okay, talk about
So I performed to a room of 9 people.
Sure.
In a bar somewhere out in Rhode Island. I had, I think, about 9 songs on my whole set.
Okay.
Only actually got through 4 of them. It was not a great time.
Until what happened?
I just kept forgetting lyrics.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And from that point on, I made it a very, very specific point to always know my lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I never want to have that feeling again. That sucked. That was not cool. That was not fun. And I mean, to be honest, the 9 people I performed for, 4 of them were artists. 1 of them was my godmother, and the other 4 were people that were drinking at the bar.
Yeah.
So like, it really wasn't. It was definitely good to get the bones, shaken, like get the jitters out.
Absolutely.
But from then on, I was very hungry to have a proper show,
For sure.
performance.
I never even really thought about that because I've like heard little snippets of saying like Lil Wayne doesn't even like remember his lyrics a lot of times, or especially with people who have a lot of songs, it's just difficult to like, especially for someone like him. I remember a snippet saying that he gets reminded of like things that he said because he just comes up with so many different lines. And so is that still an issue for you? Because I know that you come up with a lot of music.
Yeah.
What is your process like of remembering your lyrics?
So my process is just basically jam memorization. Just listen to that song on repeat as many goddamn times as you can. If it's a whole set, I'll listen to the whole set, but I'll also practice the whole set. And as I'm about halfway through practicing, I'll create another set where it has no vocals, so I can make sure I have my lyrics.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This way here, I know for a fact I did spit this correctly.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't hit a specific drop on a certain word, or if I didn't catch an ad lib at the right time, I know I did it wrong, and I need to redo it.
Sure. Okay.
Or if I, came in a little late on the hook, or if I came in too early on the hook, I know I need to redo it because I didn't spit it correctly.
Yeah.
So it's just basically a lot of memorization. Just like your multiplication tables.
For sure, yeah. And now, do you ever, like, I've heard different jokes here or there about, people listening to their own songs, but, I mean, there's a difference between doing it for a purpose and then just doing it for leisure, but do you ever listen to your own songs just in your free time?
Until I'm bored with it.
Yeah.
Until I'm annoyed with it.
So that point can come.
That point does come eventually.
Yeah. Okay.
It depends on the song, though, because there's been times where I'll go back to a song that I haven't heard in a while that I usually skip, and I'll be like, you know what, this was fire.
Yeah.
You know, I did really good on this. I'm pretty hype. I'm not gonna listen to it again, but I did really good on this.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if the song, in my mental opinion, because I'm obviously we are our own biggest critics.
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna feel some type of way that you're not going to about my music. So if I am constantly listening to the song, then you know I really like the song, and I was very excited about the song.
Yeah.
Because it made me want to listen to it more and more and more and more. I actually recorded something this morning that I want to listen to as soon as we get off this.
Really?
Because I enjoyed the song that much.
Yeah. Okay. And so going back to the production side, was that something that was hard for you to learn?
It was a learning curve, but because it was something I really wanted to do, it was easy to learn.
Okay, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you had fun with it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And what's also cool is the program that I use, because I use BandLab. I don't use FL Studios or Ableton like other people use.
Yeah.
BandLab, it's 100% free.
Okay.
I pay for the paid membership, so that way I can get some extra things to do. But regardless, I've actually put other artists onto BandLab, and they've started up their careers because I was like, hey, you don't have money for studio time? I don't have money for studio time. Here's the studio in your hand. Here, do with it with you will.
Sure.
And I've actually helped out quite a few different artists that, times are tough. We can't always afford studio time.
And so that's actually a really important aspect as far as for trying to remove barriers of access to music, because so many artists, they think that they need those expensive programs and expensive equipment,
Correct.
but not necessarily.
Correct. Yeah. I think I've maybe spent less than $500 on my whole setup.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's minus the computer. I'm just using using a regular laptop.
Okay.
I think that was maybe like $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah, sure.
But other than that, like, mic, foam padding, HDMI cables, the I can't even remember the name of the little box, but just to connect everything, like less than $500.
Okay.
And I've put out at least 4 albums since my setup's been complete.
And do you also do your own engineering?
Yep. I mix, master, record, produce.
Yeah.
I promote, manage. I literally do it all.
Now, do you enjoy being a team of one, or do you want to expand and have more people doing things so it makes it easier for you?
I enjoy it. I would enjoy the help. I'm definitely not gonna knock the help. But I also do enjoy it to the point where I'd like to, at some point, do it for other artists as well.
Sure.
Like, I've always had the idea of starting some sort of label, or starting some sort of, like, I had like my own group, like Whooshie Gang. Like, I had that for quite a few years, but that eventually fell back down to a group of one. So I was like, you know what? I'll put that on the back burner for now. But I really would like to, at some point, start a label. I'd like to help other artists. I don't even have to be, the Death Row or Bad Boy. Actually, no, not Bad Boy.
Definitely not.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be like some big conglomerate.
Yeah.
If I can at least just get some up and coming artists off the ground and get their feet underneath them.
Yeah.
So this way here, they can go out and do bigger and better things. Cool. I at least did something cool for the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least like the artists that are near me. Even if you're, you could be all the way out in California, I'll still help you.
Sure.
Like, I just want to be able to help other artists that didn't have the same, that don't know where to go. Now that I at least know where to go, I can show them what I did to get in the right direction.
Now, do you feel like, so you started rapping in New Bedford?
Yes.
Okay. And so do you feel like it's easier to get started here as someone being from New Bedford, or do you feel like a lot of artists have to go somewhere else, like a Rhode Island or Boston, in order to get started?
So you always want to start. All right, so I'll break it down like this.
Please.
Everybody will always tell you that you will never get love in your own city.
You hear that all the time, yeah.
You gotta leave to get love. You gotta leave to at least experience some sort of love.
Yeah.
And I agree with that to an extent, because if you at least don't have a foundation to start from, how do you expect anybody outside of your hometown to even think you're worth anything?
Yeah.
Because my mindset is like, correct, obviously whoever's watching this, correct me if I'm wrong. But if somebody, say, from Des Moines, Iowa, comes out here and they're trying to, put their name out there, and you go and look, and everybody in Des Moines, Iowa does not like them.
Yeah.
Why am I gonna like you?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's a really good point.
So if you at least can build a foundation in your own hometown and start there, and build out the circle. It doesn't even have to be the whole city. We're not trying to take over the city. We're trying to, spread the name across the country.
Yes.
So at least if you can get your city to like you and like your music and be like, yeah, no, come to our city and see this guy. Or better yet, we back him when he goes out of town. Like he puts on for our city.
Yeah.
Those are the artists those are the artists I'd want to listen to.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of like another famous artist that they rep their city all the time.
Jack Harlow.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Jack Harlow constantly, and his city loves him.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
he was selling music in high school.
Yeah.
And then came up and reps the city. He does music videos in the city all the time. I totally agree with you, honestly.
It just makes more sense. Like, build your fan base at home and then go out. Because, like I said, nobody's gonna like you if your hometown don't like you.
And even on top of that if you do build a foundational audience back at home, you can always have consistent shows.
True.
You can always have some kind of revenue stream and a place to perform if your hometown likes you,
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And that's actually why I started the Secret City Smoke Show. This way here, we have that foundation, we have that base event that we can always have a good time at.
Yeah.
It'll always be different artists, maybe somebody will perform a couple of times just to start up the show.
Sure.
But for the most part, there will always be the 3 different acts.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's smoke friendly. And this way here, everybody can learn about the different artists that are actually in their local area. Because what happens when that artist when Joe Schmo pops off? You saw him first at the Secret City Smoke Show.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and support every show that he does when he comes back home. You know what I mean? Because he was dope.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I want to help build. That ties into the label.
Yeah.
That ties into the shows. That ties into my music. Yeah.
And so I'm so glad you brought that up, because that wraps up part 1. But in part 2, we're going to talk a little bit about your musical journey, but then also about this, I don't want to say process, but the startup that you've created in order to help out other artists.
Okay.
And so this has been Wake Up New Bedford with Libsey. Catch us in part 2, where we continue this conversation, talk more about his future and some of the things that he's got going on. Thanks for watching. Catch us in part 2. Peace.